So let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the Eagles. By the way, Olympics totally on the table. I mean, there's a lot to discuss there. I
have a major accusation
Go for
right
it.
now.
Go for
Losing.
Yep.
I don't know if you watched any luge.
Yeah, I watched it.
It feels so obvious that the track keeps getting faster and faster. I would fight tooth and nail to be the very last loser down that track. It really is like each successive race gets faster. Doesn't matter where they're from. Doesn't matter if they're supposed to be good. You know, like the commentators. I can't believe no one has said, oh my gosh, every single time this course is run, the next race gets faster than the last.
Well,
it's got to be something to it.
Well, there could be. Look, I hadn't thought of it. Interesting observation. I did notice in one of the skiing events, there was the blue course and the red course, and they're going side by side, and it looked like one of them was faster than the other. So
definitely a factor.
These things happen
it's
sometimes.
A different course. And then eventually you see, okay, blue's faster or red is faster. It's a little bit longer. It's a little bit different.
Little different. All right, so look, the Olympics are on the table, and I do want to get into it. I hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, we're 3 days in now to the Winter Olympics. In our poll on Friday, most people said they weren't interested. That's fine. But if you have watched, let us know. If you haven't, let us know why not. Obviously, the Olympics, big deal. It's on the table, 215-592-9494. So, too, is the Super Bowl. Look, before we get into it from an Eagles perspective, let's just deal with the game. Couple things. One, brutally boring. James, brutally freaking boring Super Bowl.
Awful.
Horrible.
Like, as lame as they get. Yeah, it was not fun.
All right, brutally boring Super Bowl. That's number one. Number two, Seattle's the best team in pro football this year. No doubt in my mind. I mean, they really put it together. And I think a lot of it is October, November, December. They were really good. Are they historically great? No, they're not a historically great Super Bowl champion. But they put it together, and obviously it starts with their defense being, and it really starts up front. You know what they? I mean, it wasn't even like Sam Darnold played that well last night. He did not. Now May was a disaster. I mean, that was one of the worst big game performances we've ever seen. And the final stats so don't tell the story. He ended up 5 yards short of 300 yards.
Kind of like Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl last year.
Very similar. Very, very similar.
But there's a huge takeaway from all of that.
Go for it.
I mean, Mike Macdonald, first defensive play caller to win the Super Bowl. Congratulations to him for that. That is so awesome.
38 years old, too.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
But just an amazing job he did with that Seattle defense. But that defense, what Mike Macdonald did is basically he took Vic Fangio's stuff and just built on it. Like what just won the Super Bowl is Vic Fangio's principles, Vic Fangio's split safety principles, where then you rotate into too deep starting, where it then becomes a split zone where one side you might have too deep, one side you might have cover 4. Like it might be just a mix. That's the thing that got to Drake last night.
Confusing quarterbacks. Yeah,
absolutely. You don't know for sure at the snap of the ball when that safety is going to reveal himself, reveal what the defense becomes, and then that split second of delay, that's too much. You can't wait that long. Drake May was outfoxed by Vic Fangio's scheme last night. So what we just saw win is the same stuff that won the year before. Defensively,
it was a very similar game.
We can do that. We defensively can do that. Now we need better pass rushers because they were able to get there, like 43.4% of the time without, they got pressure on the quarterback without blitzing. That's what we used to be able to do, and we weren't able to do as well this year. But the split safety stuff, we're familiar with it. That's great. We can come back next year and feel pretty confident. The difference is on the offensive side of things, we fell way down last year.
No question.
Can we build way back up? Look, I'm excited about the fact that our defense is based in the same principles that just won. Our offense now has to rebuild this entire offseason, and we know the offensive line is going to be problematic. But we don't know if we'll have Lane, and we know what that looks like in terms of winning and losing. But our offense next year has the quarterback that is necessary to win against these split safety looks. We saw yesterday what happened when Drake May started running it, started scrambling, started diffusing the defensive confusion by just tucking it and running it, keeping it, simple. Running the football. How about the fact that Kenneth Walker was the MVP of the Super Bowl? The last time a running back was the MVP of the Super Bowl, I was in college.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I was watching with my college roommates.
Yeah.
It was Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
And then I played the next year against Terrell Davis. But that fact, the running back MVP of the Super Bowl, we've got a running back who can do a lot of special things.
Of course.
Can our offensive line build back to where it needs to be to allow our running back to do special things without the presence of Jeff Stoutland to help them rebuild? I'm excited. Like I said, there's carryover. Our defense can do what just won a world championship.
Yeah, I agree.
Our offense, our quarterback can do what just won a world championship. Our running game can do what just won a world championship. It's been a while, though, since we've seen them achieve at that level.
Well, yeah, it's been 365 days.
Can this new staff teach this quarterback, teach these players to be better than the best?
Well,
and it's all about overtaking the defense now.
Yeah.
The year before, it was about overtaking our offensive schemes. They did that. Now, can the offense get back and overtake the defense? It really is this fascinating give and take.
We'll ask you 215-592-9494. What stood out to you the most, both within the game itself, the hoopla around the game, pregame, halftime, after the game, all that, all the festivity stuff, but then also, most importantly, from our standpoint, how it relates to the Eagles. Because, look, most times we watch Super Bowl, Eagles aren't in it. And so, the natural thing is, all right, we just all watched a game of two other teams. What did you take of it from an Eagles perspective? 215-592-9494. I'll give you my top three. Number one, and I felt it all day, I did feel a sense of pride and appreciation for last year. I really did. That included knowing, hey, my squad was on this field last year, and by the way, they romped the other team last year, and hey, by the way, here's Jalen Hurts before the game with the luminaries of pro football history. I thought that was really cool.
How about that?
So we shouldn't ever, lose sight of the accomplishment, how dramatically incredible they were in that game. And it was only a year ago. So that's number one, sense of pride. Number two, it does, and Andy Reid taught us this, it starts up front. It starts up front. And the reality is, this year, the Eagles were really good up front on one side of the ball, especially once they made some changes, got Nolan Smith back, Jalen Phillips acquired, that whole deal. But defense up front, good. Offense, bad. And what you saw with Seattle last night, Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl because they dominate up front. Period. End of story. They didn't win the Super Bowl because of Sam Darnold. They won the Super Bowl because they dominate the line of scrimmage. So typically that's what the Eagles do, but faltered dramatically this year on offense. And we know that that's a concern moving forward because Lane, Jerrigan, and Dickerson. So that is number two. Number three is actually my biggest takeaway. Going a little out of order here, but it's my biggest takeaway from last night. Defenses have tilted the balance of power in the NFL. And I do think as much as we all get out of our freaking skull frustrated with the Eagles offense, and I'm not letting them off the hook, I do think we have to acknowledge there's something going on right now in the NFL. It's making a lot of offenses look pedestrian.
Split safeties.
Well, that's
it's
a big,
impossible
that's a big part
to
of it.
know until a split
It's a big
second
part of
too
it.
late where you should go.
Because I didn't even think Sam Darnold was very good, and obviously Drake May was one of the two or three worst performances we've ever seen in the Super Bowl. James, he was a disaster last night.
He was so
horrible. He was horrible.
Awful. He was lost.
He was lost. James, what was your biggest takeaway? And again, everyone, 215-592-9494. Biggest takeaway as it relates to the Eagles last night. What do you got?
Yeah, I think it's the defense thing, because it did, and it's so funny. We hear, this is like the greatest defensive performance. It's like, since last year in the Super Bowl. It felt so similar. That game felt so similar.
Very similar.
And it just, it made me feel even, and I didn't expect the Eagles to win the Super Bowl this year, but watching that, it felt like a missed opportunity, not because they were better than Seattle or should have beaten Seattle, but because they had that formula. That defense was built to win the Super Bowl. I think that defense was at Seattle's level. Seattle might have been better, but it just felt like even more. I know we felt it the whole time, but it felt even more of a missed opportunity.
Well, we said it a million times this year. If the Eagles' offense could have given them just 15 or 20% more, just 15 or 20% more, they could have done something. But look, they couldn't. They didn't. And Seattle's did. I mean, Seattle's offense, look, they had the running back, they had the wide receiver, they had the offensive line.
Running the ball diffuses all of it.
Yeah, and the good enough quarterback.
Yeah.
He wasn't great. Sam Darnold's not great.
No.
But, he didn't.
But he was good enough.
You knew early in the game if Sam Darnold didn't turn it over, Seattle would probably win the game.
That's like the theme. That's the theme
9-0
across football.
lead at halftime seemed insurmountable.
It really did. All right, so the game itself on the table, the hoopla before, during, and after on the table. But also, specifically, what stood out to you the most from this Super Bowl experience as it relates to the Eagles when you absorbed it all?